Alright, it's Bella. I'm certain now.
Okay, it's better.
Hello, and welcome to the Deview, where there's a 0% chance of hearing that something is good, there's a 0% chance of hearing that something is bad, and there's a 0% chance that I am the imposter. I'm aware that I look quite suspicious right now, but let me assure you that that death was entirely of natural causes. I don't even have arms, okay? How could it have been me? Think about things every once in a while. Among Us was released in 2018, though you probably didn't know that on account of the fact that it initially came out with all the fanfare of an obese cat trying to squeeze through a cat flap. This isn't a statement on the quality of the game at all, but Steam is a revolving door of games that differ in quality so wildly that you're bound to have a few worldwide hits slip through the cracks every now and then. All I'm saying is, look out for Shoot My Waifu in the coming months, alright? It wasn't until 2020 that streamers like Soda Poppin' and their legions of fans cornered this cat in its very own garden and began loudly blowing party poppers at it that people suddenly started to think, hey, we should get in on this too. And now here we all are, playing loud 10-person lobbies across the world, assembling like the fucking gaslighting Avengers. Much like the world's baldest and roundest billionaires, Among Us is also a game that's benefited hugely off the coronavirus pandemic. It's fair to say that quarantine was bringing us all a little bit too close together with our friends, so thank God Among Us has finally been unearthed to give me the reasons to scream at them, hate them, and never want to speak to them again that I've been looking for since the day that one guy ate that bat, whatever the fuck happened. So, what is Among Us? Well, if you can lift your rock long enough to hear me out, allow me to explain. Among Us is a space-bound Caesar salad of subterfuge in which every vegetable is a sabotage that sends all the colourful little members of your crew marching over to the other side of the map like the last few Tic Tacs stuck to the inside of the box. Go, you brainless apes! You couldn't even possibly begin to conceive of my machinations!
Why would you skip if you were Seth and Deanna?
Because I fucking lost, fuck you. It's an asymmetrical game of social deduction. One or two people are randomly, secretly assigned to the role of imposter, while the other much larger share of players are crewmates, who have to complete minigames or tasks around the ship, whilst the imposters kill them off and have to lie about it and cover their tracks to keep their identity concealed. The game ends when the crewmates collectively finish all their tasks or successfully identify and vote off the imposters during the discussion rounds, or the imposters sow enough chaos to match the number of crewmates or even win via sabotage. Basically, it's a video game interpretation of Mafia, or Werewolf, or Secret Hitler, or Town of Salem. Or in simpler terms, Among Us is Mario Party, where the only minigame is Candlelight Flight and Benedict Arnold is a playable character. And you don't choose him, he chooses you. You know, a while back, before Among Us had even become popular, a friend of mine decided to change his style up. He let his facial hair grow out, he made loads of new additions to his wardrobe, and he even got a new tattoo. But he was unconfident in how it all looked, and he confided in me about it. He asked me earnestly what I thought of it all. I said, dude, you look better than ever. That beard totally suits you, and the new jacket is fly AF. And shortly after, I remember thinking to myself, damn, what if there was a game about lying to my friends? And now that it's here, I feel I've made some pretty interesting observations. One, a surprising amount of people cannot deal with the pressure of being imposter. And I don't judge these people, I totally get it. I was a furniture salesman for about a year, so I've been imbued with ungodly lying abilities since my late teens. But not everyone has been trained in the dark arts like I have. As casual a game as it's intended to be, the thought of having to lie to your friends, even as part of a game, is genuinely a big turn-off for a lot of people. I wonder how much bigger the game could be if we were all trained sociopaths like myself. 2. It's very obvious that Innersloth were not expecting Among Us to blow up so suddenly in the way that it did. I mean, how could they? Could anyone? It's for that reason that despite being one of the biggest games going right now, Among Us still feels very quaint. Because it was for about 2 years. When you sabotage something as the imposter, you get little to no feedback outside of a little meter that goes down. No sound effect, no particularly noticeable visual cue. While it makes perfect sense that sabotaging the lights should not similarly affect the imposter's vision, or sabotaging communication should not stop your fake tasks from showing up, it's often very hard to grasp the effect that your sabotage is actually having because of this unresponsiveness. This quaintness extends to my next observation. 3. Among Us has next to no anti-griefing mechanisms in place. I know this because my friends and I put it to the test not long ago. Though, let me be clear, my friends and I are not your average griefers. Most griefers do what they do to ruin people's experience and put them down, but we grief to lift people up. It's hardly even griefing. I call it Choose Your Champion. 5 or so of us will set up a public lobby, wait for it to fill the rest of the way up, and then choose the player with the best name to be our champion. From then on, for the rest of the time that they are in that lobby, they will win every game. We decree it. If one of us is the imposter, we'll blatantly kill and vent in front of them, and then give them the chance to report it via the emergency button, often going on to immediately admit what we did. If they are the imposter, we'll intentionally stack ourselves to give them easy kills and do everything we can to get ourselves voted off during the discussion phases. Once the game is over, we'll all go on to lavish as much praise on our champion as humanly possible in the text chat and assure them that they are in fact the best Among Us player ever. You're likely going to have to learn how to play Among Us by watching other people play it in their huge Twitch streams, or by simply playing with someone else who already knows how to play. Among Us doesn't really tell you much about how to play it, and it doesn't go very far in explaining itself. Pretty sus if you ask me. Considering this in conjunction with my earlier observations might lead you to believe that I feel a certain way about the game. But let me put it this way. When man first dug up the potato, they didn't know what to do with that either. The potato was hardly about to explain itself, but after Moses, I assume, showed them the hash brown, the potential of the potato was unlocked, and it became one of the world's most impressive foods. You just have to take off that hideous skin first. Can you believe some people eat that shit? Jesus. Pretty sus if you ask me. When I played Among Us for the first time ever, not really having a full grasp of how it worked, and I saw this screen and heard this sound, a devilish grin spread across my face, and an anticipatory shiver tingled down my spine. Months later, I still get the exact same feeling almost every time I play. Doubly so when I'm the imposter. That right there is the mark of something that doesn't need a lengthy explanation. That right there is the mark of the potato. Look, ending these things is really fucking hard. It's the mark of the potato, alright? Deal with it. Have a nice day. Excite! Fan voting on the Deview is now open. I've introduced a brand new cheapest tier to my Patreon for £1 a month. Being subscribed at this tier will give you voting rights for all future Deviews, which will, at least for the foreseeable future, all be voted for in this manner via my Patreon. If that ever changes, even for a one-off, I'll be sure to let you know. The poll will be open for exactly a week after this video goes live, and voting for the February Deview is between these 4 games. I'm ready to do any one of them, and I reckon they'd all be great fun. I imagine just about every future Deview will be somewhat longer than this one. Among Us is of course a game that's smaller in scale than most, so it's hard to find ways to drone on about it for 20 minutes, even in this format. But expect what's to come to get a bit bigger and wilder. They might not appease the algorithm, they might not have much universal appeal, but they're my favourite thing to do, and they're the thing I'm looking forward to most this year. If you enjoy them similarly, then we at least have that to share between just the two of us, which I think is pretty romantic. See you soon.